are listening to the Tiny Vet podcast with me, Dr. Nicole Sue, veterinarian, and my fiance. He's looking at his phone. He's got something prepared.
Hello, I'm Jez Watts. Nicole's car smells like an old horse, and we share a car. So I'd like to apologise to anyone who saw my Melbourne Comedy Festival shows who left thinking the jokes were good, but why did the room smell like an old horse?
Wet horse.
Well,
Wet
listen,
horse.
an old wet horse, the smell clings, and so, yes, many of my recent shows have smelled like an old wet horse. Hello, what's the topic?
I don't see the problem with that.
Yes, you love old wet horses.
Yeah. Topic, so prescription diets and how to make the most of them because they're very expensive.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what a prescription diet is?
I know what a diet based on stolen foods from Coles is.
Can you stop telling people that, please?
It's like I'm talking about on stage. Last night, I did a joke about how I steal most of my groceries from Coles,
Jez.
and someone in the crowd woo. They were, "Wah!" And I was like, "Yeah, fellow thieves."
The police are going to come.
I'm white. Don't worry about it.
The police are going to come. The police are going to come.
The police are going to come. Tell me about prescription
Please
diets.
stop it. So prescription diets are types of like dog and cat foods that are specifically designed to help manage a particular condition.
Oh, like if they're old or they have diabetes.
Yeah, stuff like that. And it's something where you shouldn't put them on these diets without the advice of a vet. Because let's say some of these diets it may not be suitable for, healthy dogs, may not be suitable for like puppies and stuff like that.
Right, okay.
So, for example, it's a bit confusing because we do have weight loss diets, but we have off-the-shelf weight loss diets that are fine to feed any adult dog.
Right.
And then we also have prescription weight loss diets that may not be fine to feed every adult dog.
Yeah, okay.
So it does get a bit confusing there. The other thing with prescription diets is that they are very expensive.
Like compared to regular
They're
diets?
so expensive.
How much? Twice as much?
Yeah, some of them are.
Eesh.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you find...
The argument to own mice and not large
Great
dogs.
Danes, yeah. Oh, it's so expensive how much I have. And what I find people struggle with is obviously the cost of it, which is very
Yeah,
fair.
sure.
They're very expensive.
Yeah.
But they sometimes try and mitigate the cost of it, and ultimately their efforts to do so make the diet useless.
Well,
like it's
yeah,
it's so bad whenever someone says, "Oh, I'm feeding this and this and this and this," and I go, "Oh, that essentially means that you might as well not have bought that $150 bag of food."
Yeah, right.
So for prescription diets, the most important thing you need to do is when your vet puts your pet on it, ask all your questions then.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much do I need to feed him?
Because I would assume it's similar to people, right? Where
It's like Weight Watchers.
Well, no, but yeah, with
Yeah.
people, actually eating really badly is cheaper than eating well.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, yeah, if you eat McDonald's hamburgers or whatever,
Yeah.
like actually it's way cheaper if you
Yeah.
ate all week.
Yeah.
Than eating nice
Absolutely.
foods,
Yeah.
eating salads.
Like,
and
absolutely.
so on,
Like the crap that you get, the crap dog food at the supermarket.
Yeah.
It's so much cheaper.
Because I guess it's just cheaper to manufacture worse food, right?
Yeah, 100%. And it's also cheaper to manufacture worse food, but then market it to seem like it's better than it is.
Well, sure.
Well, that's a whole other topic that
No,
makes me really annoyed.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere, this might not be true anymore, but it's like 30% of the cost of any item, like in the supermarket, is the marketing budget.
Oh, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I've had customers come up to me and go, "Oh, why is, this supermarket, and I'm doing air quotes here.
It's good to tell people, actually, 'cause this is an audio
senior
medium.
food, that says it does the same thing as the one you have in the clinic. Why is that cheaper?" And I looked through the ingredients. I was like, "Oh, it's because these ingredients, like made with fish meal, is only made with fish meal when that's the cheapest meal to get on the market."
Yeah,
There are
sure.
times where, because it goes chicken, beef, pork, or, so it just means that whatever meal is just whatever the cheapest they could get at the time.
Right, sure.
Whereas a more expensive one, it always has that. Therefore, they're going to have to pay more for the raw ingredients. Therefore, it is more expensive.
Right.
A lot of these foods are artificially cheap, if that makes sense.
What do you mean?
So they say they do all these things because they can get away with it with the marketing laws and everything, and it makes them look. It makes the expensive foods look like they're too expensive.
Right.
Because
okay.
it makes it seem like,
the
well, it's the same thing,
the cheap
but
goods
it's
are
not.
essentially claiming the same thing.
Yeah, but it's not.
The big firms. But
Yeah.
yeah, no one's policing it.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we digress. So when you get put on a prescription diet, the vet asks your vet your questions then. How much does he need to eat every day?
Mm-hmm.
Can he eat anything else other than the diet?
Right. Yeah.
Because some
sure.
diets, yes, that's fine. Some diets, no, that's absolutely not fine. And my big example of that is the hypoallergenic diet.
Right.
So we have a lot of dogs with food allergies, and allergies almost always type of protein. So these hypoallergenic diets, they use a hydrolyzed protein. So they break the big protein molecule up into smaller pieces, and then the body doesn't know where it comes from. So it can't react to the... Yeah. So it's a really clever way. It's diet's been around for about 15 years
Yeah,
now.
it's just like when you get like milk that's been broken down with like lactase.
Yeah,
and stuff,
very
right?
similar
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing. So it's gone through extra processing to make sure that the protein doesn't cause the animal to react.
Yeah, cool.
And because of that extra processing step, it's quite expensive.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And what people do is they go, oh, I've been mixing it half and half with the food from the supermarket. And I was like, then you might as well not feed a hydrolyzed protein because he's going to react to the stuff in the cheap stuff that you're feeding.
Yeah.
And even they can go, oh, but we're mixing it with this super expensive thing. I was like, yeah, if it's not hydrolyzed protein, it's still going to cause him to react.
I mean, it's a hard thing, I think, when you don't have the background to know why things work or don't work.
Yeah, so
I
that's
think
why
it's
it's like,
really tough.
ask your vet
Yeah,
first up.
you
Can I
gotta just
feed him?
ask in
Yeah.
advance and be like, all right, this is what I'm planning to do. Is this
Is this okay? Yeah, 100%. 100%.
absolutely.
And they go, oh, yeah, because it's so expensive. They always almost say, oh, yeah, it's because it's so expensive. You want to make it last longer. And I'm going, no. Why?
Yeah. Spend
So-
more money, make your pet last longer.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And
Sometimes.
sometimes. If only that was how it worked. That would be very nice. Yeah, but check with the vet if you can feed other stuff, and they say no, they mean no. They're not just being mean. It's probably because the diet's
Yeah,
not going to work without the stuff.
Sure.
Like there's another diet where if you feed anything else at all, like even a tiny bit, it's not going to work. So these things are true. And for like weight loss diets, don't forget that the daily feeding amount covers how much you eat in total to the day.
Oh, what? A lot of people think it's per meal.
Some people think it's per meal, or some people think that, oh, we'll just feed them as much as he wants of that diet and he'll lose weight. Because it's a weight loss diet.
Oh, I see.
So, like, you put the pet in a weight loss diet, they come back, and the owner's like, he's fatter. And you're going, all right, how much are you feeding him? And they're like, oh, we just keep his bowl full. We're like, yep, that's why.
It was definitely,
It's not like a magic weight loss thing in there. Like, you still have.
Yeah, it was really interesting to me to see that even, like, different kinds of hay would make our rabbits fat.
Yeah.
It's like they're just eating hay, but like there's just certain kinds of hay. It's like this is fattening hay.
Yeah.
That the rabbits really prefer.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, yeah. I think that's probably what a really common thing is to keep the bowl full.
Yeah, really common. And you're like, oh, don't do that, please.
Yeah, sure.
That's why he's fatter. Other thing to make more of your prescription diet is if your pet gets medication as well, be really onto it. Especially if there's guidelines for giving the medication before, during, after feeding times.
Right, okay.
You brought up diabetics before, and that's so important. So making sure that you're giving their insulin, a specific time, the meals at the same time every day. So that's another way to make these expensive diets work harder for you. And don't forget other recommendations as well. Just because you're buying the $200 diet or whatever doesn't mean you still don't have to do everything else. So revisits, diagnostics, physio, exercise, all of that kind of stuff is it all adds up, including the food
to
that
a
you're
grumpy
feeding.
animal.
Yeah, actually, that's not wrong.
Yeah. It's awful.
Oh, the frequent flyers that come in and then they see my face and
Yeah. Because the animal does not understand
No.
why you're torturing it this way. I'm
so
personally, I'm
grumpy.
38. I'm trying to look. I've cut out a bunch of things, and even me when it gets to, because I get home at like midnight or whatever, and at that point my ability to resist temptation is the minimum it can be, and so like I'll be like all day I'll eat salads and I'll be a good boy, and then like comes midnight, no one else is awake, and I'm just in the house, and I just get a loaf of bread and I walk into my room and I shut the door, and I just eat half a loaf of bread, and then the next day I'm like, oh god, why am I fat? But the animal, and that's me wanting to lose weight.
Yeah.
The animal has no idea.
They do not enjoy
It's the
it.
meanest thing in the world.
Every time I
reckon that's half the problem is people don't want to be mean to them.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times when I counsel a fat rabbit owner, being like, I'm really sorry you've got to lose weight. I always say this.
Counsel a fat
Yeah.
rabbit owner.
I always say this.
That's what you need.
The first.
You love a fat rabbit.
I do love fat. It's bad, I know, but I do love them. They're very cute.
Yeah.
But first I saw they're gonna throw the most enormous tantrum you've
Yeah.
ever seen in your entire life.
Yeah.
If you can stick it out for a week, they'll get used to it. But it's
In
gonna
our
be
house,
a lousy week
They
for
will
you.
literally throw their metal bowl against the wall.
Yeah. So I always say, look, be prepared. It's gonna be a lousy week for you. It's gonna suck. But if you can hack it for a week, they'll get used to it.
They do get used to it.
Yeah.
Whenever you go away for a couple of weeks, like they get used to the fact they don't get bun cookies and they stop asking.
It's not very nice.
No, I give them food that's good for them.
But anyway, I sympathize.
Yes.
It hurts me.
Don't make fat animals.
The Tiny Vet podcast is brought to you by Upilio. Sources for our topics can be found at upilio.io. Outro music by Matt Charleston.